We, the internet-loving people, want super-fast internet where we can download 25 songs in 1 second. To show you how super fast that is, here's 25 songs in 1 second. Pretty sweet, right? DJ, give 'em another 25. Now, hit 'em with something they can dance to. You feeling that? Oh yeah. Super fast internet. AT&T Fiber.
Limited availability. Speeds vary, not guaranteed. Speed and time examples or estimates. Visit att.com/getfiber for details.
In 1995, John Suk founded Deep Elm Records. Today, 20 years later, Deep Elm Records boasts over 220 releases. We celebrate the pioneering spirit and the awesome artists that make up Deep Elm Records each week here on the unofficial Deep Elm Podcast. The unofficial Deep Elm Podcast begins now. Hello everyone, my name is Alan Wayne, welcoming you to the unofficial Deep Elm Podcast, episode number 18. And tonight we are featuring a release from the Deep Elm label from June 23rd, 2003, the continuation of the epic Emo Diaries series, Chapter 9, entitled Sad Songs Remind Me. Tonight we are going to be hearing from such acts as Milton Mapes, So Sad Althea, Surrounded, and At the Close of Every Day. So, Chapter 9 of the continuing Emo Diaries series continues the fine unreleased music coming out of the Deep Elm label under the Emo Diaries umbrella. Some of the reviews here. First off, from Manchester Music, quote, "Sad Songs Remind Me feature some of the most beautiful, heartbreaking, and essential music released so far this year, and the 9th chapter of the Emo Diaries continues to showcase the best the genre has to offer. The series' best achievement has been to give exposure to largely unheard bands. The sparse, desolate beauty of As the Summer Passes By from Lemuse is my favorite track. Rugged northern climes, dying autumn days, and haunted memories effortlessly evoked by these Swedes. And must be something in the water in Scandinavia as their fellow countrymen Surrounded do epic sonic damage with High Five Hierro, while So Sad Althea give us searing guitar heartbreak on the opener, and the national anthems make the perfect goodnight closer. This is a truly international compilation with the emotional charge of the local art being tangible even to those who don't understand Japanese, while the liltingly brash Ask Emma by the Paper Champions excels. The boy-girl vocals of La Pieta are outstanding, as is Milton Mapes' languid Big Cloud, Big Sky. Chapter 9 is gentle and downbeat, and shot through with a wistful sadness. But what really makes this an essential purchase is the solid gold songwriting. This is music of beauty, melody, slow caresses, patience, and gravitas. A near flawless collection. That is from Manchester Music, and right now we are going to hear one of the tracks that is chosen by, as we have each week, or was chosen by, the Deep Elm Insiders. This is the favorite of the favorite from folks who know Deep Elm best, and this is the opener from Chapter 9 of the Emo Diaries by So Sad Althea, As I Fall Apart, here on the unofficial Deep Elm Podcast, chronicling Chapter 9 of the Emo Diaries, Sad Songs Remind Me. So Sad Althea, coming up.
I see you smile as I fall.
Welcome back to the unofficial Deep Elm podcast. You just heard the band So Sad Althea with a song called As I Fall Apart that opens up the selection we are profiling this week, Chapter 9 of the continuing Emo Diaries series entitled Sad Songs Remind Me. Another piece of press written for this album was by Mundane Sounds. Quote, "After listening to Sad Songs Remind Me for the first time, my very first reaction was, quote, whoa." The 12 bands featured on Chapter 9 of the Emo Diaries are impressively different. Sure, all of these bands have an intense nature, but none sound remotely like the other, nor do they sound like any of your usual suspects. You know, Weezer, Jimmy Eat World at the Drive-In, Texas is the Reason, and other bands of said emotional inspiration. Of course, there are some real monster tracks on here, and each time I've listened to it, I've been blown away by 3 songs in particular. Finish Line from Michael is a fine rocker that reminds me a bit of a healthy mix of Spoon meets R.E.M., yet they don't really sound like either one. Milton Mapes' track, Big Cloud, Big Sky, sounds like vintage Bruce Springsteen mixed with a dark electronic heartbeat. It's an ominous epic number that defies classification and is a real mind-blower. The best track on here, though, is also another epic mind-blower. High Five Hierro by Surrounded. It's a quiet number that gets bigger and louder and colder and more intense, and at the end of it all, you'll be scratching your head and wondering what happened. It sounds like an odd mixture of Britpop and Dylan-esque singer-songwriter fare, and as weird as that description sounds, it really fits it well. Deep Elm have wisely jumped on this band. Once again, Deep Elm have shown that a lot of the best music being made is not being heard. And once again, their Emo Diaries series serves as an excellent introduction to music you might not have heard elsewhere. A record that's worth it for the 3 songs mentioned above. Who knows? You may wind up with 12 new favorite bands afterwards. That is from Mundane Sounds. And of course, as always, I must remind you that you can go to www.deepelm.com and name your price on this album starting at $1. Starting at $1 for all this great music. Or if you prefer, starting at 50 cents per track. Give more if you can. I'm sure you will. Up next, we're going to hear Surrounded, the very Surrounded that was just mentioned in the last review, with their epic song entitled High Five Hierro, here on the unofficial Deep Elm podcast. Welcome back to the unofficial Deep Elm podcast. I'm your host, Alan Wayne. Tonight we are profiling Chapter 9 of the Emo Diaries series entitled Sad Songs Remind Me. More press on this piece. Quote, Deep Elm is a name synonymous with quality independent music, the true independent spirit, and the best compilation series on the planet. This is from Punk Rock Reviews, by the way. Quote, this trinity is again united with the release of the 9th chapter in the immensely popular Emo Diaries series, Sad Songs Remind Me. This time around, the collection features 12 diverse acts with one common link, truly passionate and emotional songs. From the haunted whispering of High Five Hierro, which you just heard, by Surrounded, to the dueling boy-girl vocals of Avec, one thing is clear. Each song on this comp has more heart than entire albums of the, quote, emo that mainstream radio is currently force-feeding to the impressionable youth. I would be remiss not to mention the Paper Champions' fantastic Ask Emma, the simple yet wonderful track from At the Close of Every Day, and finally the outstanding When the Light Becomes Green from the best thing ever to come out of Italy, Settlefish. In the end, there is no way of getting around the fact that the Emo Diaries series continues to please with splendid collections of timeless songs. Chapter 9 upholds the high standard that the series has come to be known for and serves up a vivid picture of the beauty of music. Once again, that was from Punk Rock Reviews. And right now we are going to hear that song from At the Close of Every Day. This is JB's Pick of the Week. On our Facebook page, the unofficial Deep Elm Podcast Facebook page, JB put up a great write-up on the band from Sweden, actually, At the Close of Every Day, who is still active. And if you go to that Facebook posting, you can see some of their most latest releases, as well as other facts and anecdotes about the band. Thank you to Jason Barr, and this is Jason Barr's Pick of the Week, the song from At the Close of Every Day called High School Lovers USA, here on the 18th episode of the unofficial Deep Elm Podcast.
Around your wrist, you were my jacket. I carried your bag. Your name on
Welcome back to the unofficial Deep Elm podcast. I'm your host, Alan Wayne. That was from At the Close of Every Day, a track called High School Lovers USA. Jason Barr, the editor of our Facebook page and social media guru, that was his pick of the week from Chapter 9. I must remind you once again that you can get this and all of the other chapters of the Emo Diaries by just typing in www.deepelm.com and naming your price, starting at $1, one single solitary dollar for just amazing music. So go check it out. As we close this particular episode, I would like to let you know that I will be off next week. I'll be taking vacation with my family. So there will be no Deep Elm podcast next weekend, but I will be coming back with episode 19 right after that on the next Saturday. And it will be chapter 10 of the Emo Diaries, the final chapter before a lengthy hiatus. And we'll be talking about what emo means to a lot of people, as well as why John and the folks at Deep Elm decided to stop the Emo Diaries compilation series at that point. There is a reason, and it's pretty heavy. We're going to read some excerpts from a interview that John did about the subject when we come back to you in a couple of weeks. But right now, to close this particular chapter out, will be the song that has been mentioned before by Milton Mapes. This is another Deep Elm Insider track, one that's loved by the folks who know Deep Elm best. Milton Mapes, this is Big Cloud, Big Sky, here on the unofficial Deep Elm podcast, episode 18, profiling Chapter 9 of the Emo Diaries, released June 23rd, 2003. Thank you for listening, and stay independent.
Gas stops burning, 'cause the pilot's gone. You feel the heat run out and the cold come on. Just down the road from the city of sin, where you can hear the dead laugh in the wind. And I don't see myself in this place again, with the downtown noise and the dotted line. Worldly game gets left behind. Big cloud, big sky. Big cloud. see a dead-end sign, did I miss my turn? On the floor with lies and the carpet burn, with the downtown noise and the dotted line, and the worldly game gets left behind. Big cloud, big sky. Big cloud, big sky. Big cloud, big sky. Big cloud, big sky.
Riding a motorcycle isn't just about what you ride, how you look, or your destination. It's about freedom and adventure. Once you start, it becomes a part of who you are. It gets in your blood. But a word of caution. If you dilute your blood with alcohol and get on your bike, well, you've lost it. Because that's not riding. That's just being stupid. Alcohol slows your reflexes and coordination, and police notice these things. So remember why you ride. Because if you don't ride sober, you will get pulled over.